안녕 친구들. This is my second review of Road No. 1, and you'll notice I'm going to try to include, I think, a little bit of a screen cap at the end of this video as well, for those of you who want to see an actual picture of the series. But episodes 3 and 4, the series is progressing pretty quickly. We see that wars happened, and a lot of conflict between Changwoo and Shintae, and I really don't like Shintae. But certainly we see Changwoo rising to the challenge. He goes through officer training, and what should have been a punishment, or Shintae's efforts to kind of get him away from Suyeon, actually ends up helping him, because he goes through and becomes the beginnings of an officer, if you will. Certainly a lot more training involved. Actually, I can't remember. I had to do just kind of a review, so I haven't fully watched or rewatched episodes 3 and 4, but I will say, for those of you who saw it and you're thinking, wow, they really waxed on the sentimentality and things like that, yeah, I will say that there is sometimes a heavy dose of sentimentality, especially when soldiers pass away and things like that, or soldiers die and they're burying them. But a part of me still, I do like the series still, despite that, sometimes syrupy sentimentalism, because it feels nostalgic to me as I watch it, and there seems to be definitely much more of the tugging of heartstrings, whether that's forced or whether that's just genuinely initiated. So that's the reason why I really like this series. You see certainly Changwoo waving goodbye to Suyeon and his father, and the little agashi as they're going on that raft, not realizing that he's not going to see his father. And of course Suyeon, as the raft is going off into the crossing the river, she realizes the father has passed away and she's not able to tell him. And so just the things that happen in war, we certainly see that in spades with this particular series. And when I said earlier that the series moved really quickly, 3 and 4, I was surprised. Because of course Changwoo and Suyeon get separated, and then Changwoo finds out that Suyeon is in Busan, and then he's able to reconnect with her. And there's this very sad scene, and I thought, such an interesting commentary on what happens with war. When Suyeon's younger sister, when Changwoo sees her, is as a prostitute. She's dressed up, and then she is of course shamed by that, but then she also meets with Shintae, and the shock of that, especially the embarrassment and humiliation, because Shintae is the Maknae Agashi's first love, and she really does adore him and things like that. And so just the whole love triangle and how it's now expanded to a quadrangle, if you will. It was a lot of fun for me to watch. And then I will say, the director filmed this really beautifully. Regardless of whether you don't like the story because you think it's a little bit too over the top, or just a bit syrupy at times, or too overly dramatic, it's filmed incredibly well. And I love that one scene where Suyeon and Changwoo, they don't know if, well, Suyeon and Changwoo plan on kind of running away and starting their own life, and Changwoo's like, I don't care if I'm a deserter or not, because that's not my life. I was going to get discharged anyway. And he ends up drawing a picture of her because he knows that he has to leave, of course. But it just, that's such a beautifully seen shot. The lighting is perfect, and the director, I think, really took his time to film that well. Now, episodes 3 and 4, you really begin to see the beginnings of what I think, I cannot stand this about this show. And it's a good thing in a way, because villains are supposed to be characters you really don't like. And certainly Suyeon's brother is a character that I really do not like. And we see that in spades, because he's such a crazy guy. He's so crazed, and you know, he's obviously got tuberculosis. He's coughing up blood, and his sister's trying, you know, to the best of her abilities to save him. And he continues to go on that whole communist route thing, and then ultimately he's responsible for Suyeon, you know, kind of rejecting Changwoo and deciding to follow her brother up into North Korea with no assurance of any security other than to just keep her brother alive. And this is where, you know, to me, there's a serious jump in the characterization of Suyeon. Because, you know, up in what, episodes 1 or 2, in the previous review, she was willing to commit suicide because Changwoo wasn't alive. And then Shin Tae-ho had to, like, call her back and try to talk some sense into her so that she would at least go through the motions of living until he was ready to, you know, propose to her and all of those things. And then, so despite that, all of a sudden you see Suyeon have it all now. Changwoo's there, and they're making plans for this life together. And then she throws that all away to go and follow her brother, and I didn't understand that, especially in the context of the scene earlier when Changwoo was telling her, run with me, because otherwise, if you reject me now and you go with Shin Tae-ho or what have you, you know, you choose your family, then everything that I've suffered through for, you know, during this war, when I was an enlisted, you know, soldier, it means nothing. The thing that kept me alive, it would have been a, you know, hallucination, and you know, so that was the flaw with this characterization at this point of the story, because I just don't understand her motivation. And, you know, since I saw it last year, I was thinking, well, what might have caused her to potentially choose her brother instead of Changwoo? And, you know, perhaps it's this kind of Pollyanna outlook that Changwoo will stay alive. He's managed to stay alive all this time, so he'll stay alive, and if it's fate, then we'll meet again. I don't buy it. Perhaps it's this whole sense of, you know, commitment to her family, loyalty. Her brother is now, in essence, the head of the household, the only, you know, patriarch left, and maybe she feels this, you know, filial duty to her parents to ensure that her, you know, brother stays alive and carry on the family line. I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws here. But that's like the one flaw that ugh. Anyway, so other than that, I will say Choi Min-soo, you know, I love him as the captain. He's just such a great captain. You can tell that he really cares for his soldiers, and he's trying to make the wise and honorable decisions and things like that. So anyway, I think that's it. I'm gonna just hold it off here because I keep running out of time with the other videos. So that's my review. I hope that you're watching it, or if you're not, at least these reviews, and if you've seen it, that these reviews are sparking some really good memories. I know you're watching this, Nelly, so hopefully, you know, this review made sense. Otherwise, that's it. Leave me comments if you'd like, reminding me of the episodes, certainly, or comments that you have, suggestions you have. I'm always open to making these reviews a little bit more exciting, as long as I can manage that on my low tech savvy abilities. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the picture at the end, and I will see you next week. 다음 주에 보자. Bye.